Hello everyone, and thanks for stopping by to Scrap and Craft with Terry. Today we're going to make a mini journal, and it would be a good size to carry in your purse or your bag, whatever you carry. And it's just a 8.5 by 11 sheet project, so it can be single-sided or double-sided, whichever you want to do. So we're going to go ahead and get started. If you like my video, I ask that you give me a thumbs up and check out my other ones. So I've used this before, and this is just a free printable that I found on Pinterest. So after I cut my borders off, I got 10 3/8 by 7 3/4. My printer doesn't print borderless, and some of these prints don't print out close to the edge, so but just go by the measurements of your papers, and you can just use regular scrapbooking paper too. So I started out by scoring at, I don't have my big scoreboard in here. I scored at 4 inches. So I scored at 4 inches. And then if I had my big scoreboard, I would score over here at 8 inches. It's out in the other room. So you just score at 4 and 8. That's all you do. And you don't have to score. You can just fold your paper to see what size you want your journal to be, and you have to have a flap on it. And mine's going this way. So you would just fold it, and then you fold your flap over. Now my flap is about, oh, let's see. It's about 2 3/8, give or take a hair. So it just depends on how wide you want this part and how big you want your flap, okay? Now, like I said, I was going to cover the inside, and I'm going to cover it with music paper. But before I do that, I want on my flap, and my flap's going to go this way, I want to put my closure on it. Now, I made a couple little marks on here so I knew where I wanted to put it, and I thought this was kind of cute for, looks like a little medallion thing that I could put my brad in, and I'm just going to use one of these little tiny brads. So I'm going to glue this on, and then I'll poke a hole in it. And I backed it with a lightweight piece of cardstock just to give it a little extra strength. I printed this on a little bit heavier printer paper. I like to do that for my backgrounds. Had a bunch of it gifted to me, and I love it. So I used my 0 ruler so I could find the center of it, and then I just made a couple marks along the top and the bottom, and I can erase them now. And more than likely you can't even tell that they're there because of the design on the paper. Okay. Then I want to poke a hole in my center thing. Okay, so I went ahead and poked it, and I just used this thing I didn't want a really, really big hole because the brad is small. I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. And just open up my little legs. Now I don't want it super duper tight because I want to put twine around it. So we'll try to leave it a little loose. Maybe I should have used just a little bit bigger one, I don't know. We'll try holding it back like that. Now let me see if I can get my twine around it. Like I say, I might have to use just a little bit bigger one. I have these little tiny brads, and geez, I got them years and years ago. And I don't hardly ever use them. I think I've only ever used them a couple of times. And they just sit there. Nah, I think I'll have to put a bigger brad in it. I wasn't real sure, but I was hoping. So we'll go ahead and put this one in there. Looks like a screw, so I'm going to turn this sideways if I can, so it matches my my little lines on that paper. There we go. I don't want that real tight either. Now let's see. Maybe I should have tried this in advance, huh? Maybe 3 wraps of this is too much. Okay, so I guess I'll just use my crochet thread. That's what we'll use. On the inside, I'm going to add just a little washi tape over these legs, even though I'm going to put paper over it. I don't want it coming up. But I'm starting this video off good. Guess I should have tried that earlier, but what are you going to do? Put that right across there. That'll just help hold them down. Okay. Push that up a little bit. Now I feel like I'm just whispering to myself. Okay. Now we can go ahead and start adding our inside paper. Well, I wasted a lot of time on that. But what are you going to do? Now I want to make for sure that I have this going the right way. Don't think it went this way. Nope, it goes this way. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and use my Fabri-Tac. Hopefully I'm in camera. Now I cut these to leave a border. Want it down this way a little bit more. At least with my Fabri-Tac, I can move it around for a second or two. That's not going on right. Pretty soon I'm going to have to put more glue on it, because I'm not going to have any left. There we go. Oh, you know what? I forgot to ink anything. I want these edges inked. See, that little brag got me forgetting what I was doing. I could use that as an excuse as to why I was having a problem there, right? Because I couldn't see where the fold was. The stuff that I'm putting on it, the inside paper and the little pockets and that, except for round where I'm going to round the corners, I already inked them. And my intentions was to ink this before I started doing anything. And I guess I completely forgot. Now you can, if you don't like a border, you can just run your paper all the way to the edge. And you don't even have to add paper if you don't want to. You can stencil it or just use your ink and color it. Just trying to get some of the ink on the white also, because there is a border. And then I can ink the outside later. Okay. So there's that. I didn't get much ink right there. This one will go on here next. When I cut this paper, this is out of a very, very old music book. When I cut the paper, I cut it on with my paper trimmer, but almost seemed like some of it was a little cockeyed. And my borders aren't the same, and it just doesn't matter. I'm not that specific. You have to keep working that spot there. And my last page, or my last paper. I'd just like to invite anyone that would like to subscribe to my channel to subscribe. Help my channel grow. When my videos come out, you get notification of it. If you know of anyone that might be interested in this type of video, you could share it to them. That would help me. Okay, so that's our inside. Now let me just ink a little bit more right here. Okay. So now that'll fold over like that, and when it's all done, it actually looks like a little envelope. Now, I want to, well, let me go ahead and decorate this up. When I did this, I thought this needed something. I didn't want to cover the whole thing. So I cut this out, and this was, I actually had two pieces of this paper because when I folded it the first time, I folded this so many times. I had so many folds in it because I couldn't figure out how big I wanted this flap, and then, you know, it was a mess. So I printed a second one, got this one folded. So the other one that I had that had all the folds in it, I just used for ephemera and pockets and some tags. So I thought I could put this over here, and then I kind of dotted around it just to make it look like faux stitching. So I thought over here I didn't really want to add anything, so I would just make dots around that, and then I didn't like it. So out of the other piece, and there's folds in it, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to glue it down. I cut this out, and I'm just going to cover that over. And it just looks like two pieces are going to be glued on here. So I think that works okay. Hopefully I'm up far enough. And the top part of the flower will fold over to the other side, and that doesn't matter. So I have to go right there to cover up the top of it. There. Move that over just a little because I wanted to cover up all them little black marks. So that one is glued on. And well, I didn't have another one of these, so the little black lines on it I think are just fine. And I'm just going to put that at an angle like that. And that, maybe I don't want to clear up that far. Let's bring it down just a little bit. I'll do that like that. One thing nice about using Fabri-Tac is you can get the glue off, and I have one of the little glue erasers, so that's what my flap's going to look like. And I think that looks all right. Because I like all this different writing and everything on it. So now in here, let's see what I have here. I'm going to put a little tiny pocket on my flap, because why waste the space? So I'm going to glue the 3 sides. I'm not going to cut any thumb notches in them. These will just give a little bit more journaling space. Then I have, these are from the first page that I printed. So these are just little, let me, where's my bone folder? Hang on a second. Okay, it was in the other room. My husband and I, we were babysitting our little grandpuppy this weekend, so I did some crafting at the dining room table. Okay, let's see. Let me see if I round my corners, if it'll slide down in there. Like rounding my corners for my tags. And I'm just going to round all the corners. Might have to just trim a little tiny bit. Let's just barely trim them a little bit more. Well, one is wider than the other. Let's see if this one fits. Well, that one fits better. I'm not sure that I took enough off. Yeah, I did. So anyways, our little grandpuppy, she's only about 5-6 months old, and she likes to chew on paper. So I didn't want to turn her loose in my craft room. She was in here a couple of times with me, and she thought I had a lot of good stuff in here. So we just crafted in the dining room. I had more space out there anyway. All right. We'll just ink our corners. And ink this side. And I also inked the back of them. And I kind of just went over the white, just tamed the white down a little bit. So here we have, let me make sure I'm going down in all the way. So here we have 2 long skinny tags that you can journal on. And there, you'll know there's 2 back there. I was going to round them corners, but maybe seeing how that is so tiny, it would be a good idea not to. And then these, are going to be pockets in the center. And then we're going to have tags. I'm going to make sure I space these far enough. I can move this one up a little bit. There. So I'm just going to glue my 3 sides. I'm just leaving them up from the bottom a little, and I'll slide it over here so it's kind of centered. And then I'm going to put that one right about in there. If I remember right about where in there was. I think it was there. Yeah. How's everyone doing today? Another week already. Seems like these weeks are flying by. Make sure it's about straight. Okay. Now I just have these little postcards. This one says, "Look deep into nature and then you will understand everything better." Albert Einstein. In every walk with nature, one receives more than one seeks. That says John Muir, I think. This one says, "We need the tonic of wildness." Okay. I don't know what that name is. And then I thought this was just pretty. And to me that looks right side up, but the flower looks upside down here. But all of these, it's just kind of like writing on it. You can't read any of it. So I'm going to put these in here. So we have some little journal space there. And then this, I'm going to glue on the side over here. I'm going to round these 2 front corners. I guess them are inked good enough. Let me wipe this off. Okay. And now this is going to fit the whole way from top to bottom on the music paper. That's how long that section was, so that's how long I left it. Now in there, I have this piece of paper, and this is just another digital. been just laying there waiting for me to use it for something. And I'm just going to, I went over the back of it with my ink. I'm just going to fold it in half. And then when you open it up, you'll have journaling on both sides. And then I just thought as an extra added little thing, I would put this flower on there. Thought about making it a little tuck spot, but I'm not going to. Just gonna glue it right down. Yeah, that's the right way. Thought we'd just add something fancy to the paper. And then we're just going to slide this right in there. So we have that. Now, right in here, we're going to add a signature. And I don't think it's going to be too thick. Nope. That'll work just fine. So these papers, there's some that's printed and some are coffee dyed papers. If I can find the center. So this is what we have. I've had these printed for a long time, and I printed on the back so it wasn't white, and then coffee dyed. I did every other one, and I did some where the design was on the inside, so when you open this, it would go like this. Maybe I should just do that. That might just be easier. Then you can see what it looks like. So we have this, and we have this, and we have the design inside, and coffee dyed. And I put 10 sheets in here. My intentions was to not have all of the prints together on the inside. That one's on the outside. Okay, I did it right then. But this one needs to turn the other way. So this would be on the outside. No, because that one's on the outside. Okay, I had it right. Let's flip it back. And then we have coffee dyed in the center. And then the other parts of the papers. And I think they go good together. And that's on the outside. Okay. So I'm going to sew them in here. I'm going to poke my holes and then I'll be right back. Okay. It's just easier for me to stand up and poke my holes than it is to sit down. So, and then when we get done, I still have to add this to my flap. I forgot it. All right, so I'm just going to use my crochet thread. I'm going to start in the center. I'm just doing a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Seeing how I couldn't use that red twine on top, I should have used it for my for sewing my journal or my signature in. Okay. Where you at in there? There it is. Okay, now let me cut this off. Set that aside. Okay, so when you bring your thread up, you want to be on one on one side and one on the other of this center thread. Make sure I think I need to switch my threads because I think the one wants to be on the other side. So let's do that. It's not laying down right. That's better. It's like it has a mind of its own here. Make sure your threads are tight, not tight enough to tear your paper, but tight. And I'm just going to tie it a couple of times. And then just make a little bow. You can cut it off. You can make a bow. You can start your strings from the outside, and then you can add gems. I haven't never tried that yet. Maybe someday. Okay, so goes this way. And folds over that way. Well, now that's a nice little journal. That's good. Let's just clip this back on a minute so I can glue this on here. It says follow your own path. I just thought we needed something else up there. Maybe it would work better if I laid it down. Okay, follow your own path. That's better. Now let's put our closure on. Just going to tie this around here. Just make a nice little journal for in your purse. Make a nice gift for someone that might want a little journal that doesn't want a big journal. Make nice birthday gifts, Christmas gifts, anything like that. Now we'll just snip this off. And then I'm going to wrap it a couple of times. And wrap it around. And there we go. So now I think that's kind of cute. What do you think? Hope you can see it good. All right, everyone. So let me know down in the comments what you think. And do you think you would make one? It's compact, but you sure do have lots of writing space in it. Everything doesn't have to be big. I just think it's cute. It's a good idea. And then your tags in here. Okay. So that's my video for today. If you like my video, I just ask that you give me a thumbs up and check out my other ones. And give me some comments. Let me know what you've been doing. And until the next video, everyone, I hope you have a wonderful day and happy crafting. Bye for now.